So I'd like to welcome our next speaker, David Taylor, back to Galway. David is President of the Chartered Association of Building Engineers and joining us today from the UK. He's been in private practice for over 25 years. He's been in private practice since 1993, and is the Managing Director of David Taylor Associates UK Limited. Based in Kings Lynn in Norfolk. I think we're heavily impacted by the snow last week at places. They provide architectural design and contract management services across a broad range of public, private sectors, carrying out numerous projects throughout the UK and Europe. Along the way, have been recipients of a number of prestigious awards. As we heard from Dominic and to some extent Tomas, digital technologies are really starting to disrupt the traditional patterns we've seen in the construction process. So David's going to take a look at the challenges and opportunities we face in the changed world, digitalisation. Thank you.
Morning, everybody. Lovely to be back again. I had the opportunity of being here 2 years ago and speaking then, although it was cut short due to other speakers running over time. But it's nice to be back. Listening to the speakers already this morning, there's a couple of things that it's the same key words coming out: challenges, investment, technology. And as Martin has rightly said, private practice 25 years. I've got an architectural background. If I can just bring that up. So just to give you a little bit of an insight about me, who I am, because I realise a lot of you don't know me. But I am the managing director of my own practice, 25 years architecturally, but digital technology is now moving at a different pace. I tend to give a talk as the president of the Chartered Association of Building Engineers about quality in our industry. And it's kind of got a little bit bigger since the Grenfell inquiry has kicked off. So in coming to you today, we've steered away from the quality debate and try and focus on the technology debate, which is taking over. So that's not a business card, although I can put my number up there for you if you want it, but it's not a business card. But that just gives you a bit of an insight about me, who I am, what my directives are. So let's take you through this and just see where we can go with technology and look at what we've got at the moment and where we're going to be in the next several years or more. So many of us know who this man is. Hands up in the audience, anybody who doesn't? Thank God for that. Okay, it's a famous man and a famous quote. We shape our buildings and afterwards our buildings shape us. But he also went on to comment that construction is one of the first businesses that humankind developed. And it continues to shape our daily life in unique ways. Virtually all of the businesses rely on the construction industry to provide and maintain their accommodation and infrastructure. And construction is a determinant of where and how almost everyone lives, works and plays. For nearly the entire population of the world, the quality of the built environment and technology heavily influences the quality of life. So when we read into these words, and as time moves on, how does the design, engineering and construction sector evolve to ensure a continuation of quality? And how is modern technology fitting in? So to understand the future, we must understand some of the past. The world is changing faster than ever before. Long gone are the days of working how we once did. But while most other industries have undergone tremendous changes over the last few decades, some of which we've already heard from our speakers earlier, and have reaped the benefits of their processes and innovations, the construction industry has been hesitant about fully embracing the latest technological opportunities. Our industry has vast potential for improving productivity and efficiency, thanks to new technologies and new construction techniques. But to capture all this potential, it requires a committed and concerted effort by our global industry across many aspects from technology, operations and strategy, through to personal advancement, qualification and regulation. But is our industry still holding back, or are we embracing change? So some words up there from John Beck, Chief Executive of ACON. Noticed the words this morning that we had. Looking at construction projects today, I do not see much difference in the design and execution of the work in comparison to that of 70 years ago. He's also quoted that getting where we have got to date and beyond has been a slow and arduous journey, but megatrends are now shaping the future of design and construction. And given the sheer size of our global industry, even a small improvement in technological application would provide substantial benefits for society. It's now up to industry to embrace these new opportunities more vigorously and change the way it has traditionally operated. There is so much potential in the construction industry. It is now ready to be unlocked. Other industries such as the car and plane industries have undergone radical and disruptive change, and their digital transformation is now well underway. So those working within the construction sectors now need to act quickly and decisively. So there's a couple of quotes here that I've put on the screen when we take John Beck's comments. How do we take things forward? So we've got Steve Jobs of Apple and Albert Einstein. So as industry develops, new technologies arise, designed to streamline processes and increase productivity. In the architecture, engineering and construction sectors, those technologies can cater to anything from internal company processes to the design stage to on-site construction. But these advances are usually carried out by a team or a group of people. But are we now at risk of surpassing this interaction? People are naturally averse to change until they can appreciate its practical application saves time and effort. But the issues arise when new technologies clash with traditional methods, and industry veterans are reticent to embrace the potential dividends these technologies have to offer, and continued education and growth is paramount to any success. So how do we overcome these barriers? How do we educate or move away from the old saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it? So how is change being developed? Technology develops through experience, communication, collaboration, and engagement, but it's our personal judgment call as to whether we embrace the change or choose to stay as we are. Are many of us passive professionals, or are we embracing the industry avenues of change? It's a personal risk and avenue. If we put too much water into a watering can, it will overflow, and industry professionals can be drowned with the knowledge, pressure, and attitude of change. But half fill and pour slowly, industry will embrace the knowledge and move with an easier flow. It's like the lottery. It took time to develop, but we all now buy into it. Industry collaboration has to be far better, rather than it being seen as a challenge to the most basic advantage of pooling talent, expertise, and resources. Innovation and technology is driving industry change, and through close collaboration, communication, engagement, and knowledge sharing, our industry has a diversity of skills to lead beyond the scope of many other professionals. Designing for today with an awareness of the past for a future none of us can foresee has never been more difficult. But collaborating and exchanging with fellow members has never been more easier. And through this collaboration, grasping new technological processes offers us a creativity to enable us new ways of working. Collectively, we have the industry building blocks that can make this transformation happen, turn barriers into drivers, and most importantly, unlock innovation across the global construction industry. And by sharing and encouraging innovation practices, this has to be a vital progression to increase productivity and production techniques. If we don't engage and collaborate now and make the relevant jumps in embracing innovation, we, or many of us in this room, are simply going to be left behind. So the construction industry has been looking over the parapet for far too long. New opportunities are emerging, and new developments are reshaping our industry, from new technologies to revolutionary construction techniques. New technologies and innovations improve collaboration, especially in supporting the work of today's enormous global challenges. and by slowly and intelligently integrating new technological features into our daily practices, the transition between traditional and new technology can be seamless, causing minimum disruption to projects, performance, and quality. So what are the innovations which improve communication, collaboration, value, and better engagement? Where are we now? How do we solve this puzzle? Or how are we solving this puzzle? The journey so far, communication, it was limited. Other than the old wind-up phone, we also had the handwritten letter approach, which could take days to reach its destination. The old drawing board, which many of us in this room can still remember using. In fact, some of us may still use the old drawing board. Hand drawing, then using the old process of a dye line machine, smelling of ammonia, and moving on. We then moved on to computers and the production of 2D drafting. This took forever more for industry to embrace, but over the past 25 years plus, 2D CAD drafting has become the normal design-based office tool. So as the technology has advanced, faster computers enable design packages and designs to expand, and computer tablets and smartphones now enable us to use CAD drafting even when we're traveling, providing us an opportunity to produce drawings of 3D and 4D quality, and on to building information modelling along with the digital revolution, which is now shaping the future of our industry. The pace of innovation with improved communication and engagement in our industry has been encouraging, but more is to follow. Robotics, computerized design, and a host of other technical and work process innovations are helping to create a global industry that is now more productive and cost-effective, and increasingly environmental friendly and sustainable. So as we begin to shape our industry future, what are the innovations which are spearheading our transformation? So let's start with communication. When we look at communication and engagement, this has been a key barrier we have overcome, and the effective integration of technology has created a collaborative tool which has enabled us all to communicate and engage with ease. And by the flick of a button, it's a barrier we've overcome and advanced with creativity and imagination. Trekking simply showed us the way. We simply harnessed the concept and developed the science and advanced the technology. So communication is now dominated by an iPhone, Android, social media generation, and wearable technology now enables us to access emails and communicate by the flick of the wrist, anytime, any place, anywhere. Skype enables us to visually meet up with each other thousands of miles apart, and cloud-based collaboration systems now enable us the opportunities to connect our global expertise in one virtual office. But what about other barriers and innovations we are now transforming? BIM, something we all now very familiar with, and it's been mentioned a couple of times this morning. So BIM is the current buzzword and the biggest success story to date, and critical to the procurement path of many projects, both in the UK and globally. An industry now, through BIM 360, is constructing buildings in our computers. BIM technology is revolutionary for construction, bringing together design, planning, and infrastructure, and enhancing communication between contractors, subcontractors, and the supply chain. It's a construction industry initiative which meets with the Smart Cities agenda and the Internet of Things concept. You all know about those two things. The Smart Cities agenda and the Internet of Things concept. If you don't know those things, I would advise you to look them up on Google as fast as you can. With the data and analytics being combined to create a big data set for the built environment, it's said BIM will improve performance and quality, and it certainly will from a collaborative point of view. Will we all use it? Will we all need it? Smaller practices will stay with 2D systems for the time being, but the global framework of large-scale practices are using it, and clearly cost, safety, workmanship and performance standards are said to have improved where used. It's a progression and a platform that eventually we will all need to grasp. So as I mentioned earlier, we're moving from simple 2D drawings to 3D and 4D visualization and through the virtual experience. BIM is now providing the opportunity for clients to see the animated finished article way before a spade or a digger even enters the ground. Here we have an example of a complex services system design and the coordination of installations and how it can be greatly improved by embracing the BIM opportunities and concepts. The bottom right image simply shows an example of how BIM visualization design in the healthcare sector in particular is now working, aiding and benefiting from the virtual experience. Five-dimensional BIM. It's a new word out there in a collaborative environment. 5D BIM is now the new keyword. It provides a new component to the efficiency with the help of cloud technology, using a cloud-based environment that makes the project accessible should I say, to everybody involved in the process, and everyone can work off tablets, mobiles, PCs, smartphones and iPads all at the same time. 5D allows people to be involved in the conversation from the offset, instead of working in isolation, waiting to provide the information about their piece of the project when it's their time. This technology also allows automatic generation of quantities to be processed quicker, provides more accurate data and allows the user to explore new ways of providing efficient designs, performance and costs. Governments are now moving to ensure this process for all public infrastructure projects. Britain, Finland, USA, Singapore are now all using this protocol. Personally, I think it's a worry also for the QSs, quantity surveyors. But as time goes on, we'll see how that one works. Modular construction, mentioned earlier this morning. It's advancing and it's taking BIM technology forward. Offsite construction is now developing. With the new opportunities emerging and new developments are reshaping our industry, from innovative technologies to revolutionary construction techniques. And if we remember John Beck's comments from the earlier slides, embracing these technologies must be acted upon quickly and decisively. One of the potential areas in the construction industry and which is now being embraced is off-site construction, which has the potential to encourage a greater diversity of people, including more young people into the sector due to the weatherproof working conditions and reduction in the use of manual labour, whilst contributing to environmental and sustainability targets and responding to commercial demand. The increasing uptake in off-site construction can realise endless opportunities for all industries, and there are four main categories to off-site construction systems: non-volumetric pre-assembly, volumetric pre-assembly, complete buildings, and component sub-assembly. The UK, Poland, and China are now leading the way in modular construction, but other countries are now reaching out to embrace this concept. We're all familiar with the Dutch and German Hofhaus system, but a new breed of Lego-style off-site construction is developing fast. Facet Homes in the UK are looking to develop 1,900 homes in Gravenhill, Bicester, and a further 11,000 homes are planned, which will effectively become Britain's biggest new town, formed totally from new modular design and construction. So what are other innovations that are spearheading our transformation? Digitising construction. A few years back, people were rendering 3D models and walkthroughs with virtual reality, but industry has now progressed to live walkthroughs, which are far more intuitive to clients. Clients can now walk through the designs before buildings have even commenced under construction, and with the freedom of the whole building layout, whereas before you had a certain area or a pre-recorded area that clients could explore, but now you can go anywhere, and new design options can now be easily explored. This is enabling project teams to design in the context of real-world systems, and virtual reality and augmented reality is helping to bridge the divide between the technical documentation and the finished product. Virtual reality. One of the best opportunities for virtual reality is as a health and safety training tool or other industry-related training tool. It can be used and is now actually being used for site inductions and as part of ongoing training program to make people aware of hazards and teach them how to respond to risks in a controlled and measured way. A virtual induction means that employees can walk around the site to familiarise themselves with fire exits or facilities, which again helps to mitigate risk, and it can be used like the hazard exception test in a driving examination. Aircraft pilots have learned how to fly under simulated condition for decades, so it makes sense for other industries with highly trained operatives to follow suit to reduce risk. If you immerse someone into a real-life situation within their work environment, you can train them effectively and safely in what is essentially a live scenario rather than learning reactively on the job. We can input the risks, make them aware of them, and teach them to deal with the situation. Augmented reality. Augmented reality is being applied in different scenarios, and it can be easily applied on site and will eventually be used through smartphones and tablets. Currently, models can be overlaid against the actual reality of a building with pull-up data, and this can then be merged with what you're seeing on your smartphone or tablet. Technology is developing and changing so rapidly. Its applications in construction are becoming more ingrained, and virtual reality and augmented reality are expected to have a major impact on the building sector over the coming years. Drones. The demand for drone technology in the construction industry has been increasing over the last few years, and drone technology is becoming a common element in any surveyor or site manager's day-to-day toolkit. Designers gain a clear understanding of site restrictions and challenges, allowing for more creativity walkarounds and better preparation for handling problems at an earlier stage of the project. Reality capture jumpstarts project delivery by starting with a 3D site representation as soon as a site scan begins. And this means sites can now complete a topographical survey in less than an hour and have the process data in their hands ready for analysis within 24 hours. 3D printing. 3D printing is revolutionising the way in which next generation architects and designers think and approach the problems. Top left is a simple design example and a printed model as used by architects, simply replacing the old traditional model making methods in a fraction of the time. And the top image right is a real-life 3D printed pedestrian bridge as being used in Europe. Bottom left is the first 3D printed 37 square meters, two-story dwelling carried out in Beijing in June 2016. And it took a month to complete. And bottom right is the first 3D printed house, which was carried out in March 2017 in Russia. The house, being again 37 square meters, was built in a day at a cost of $11,000, and by a company called Apis Core, who are the world's leading 3D printing specialists based in Russia and San Francisco. They built this house using a modular printer on site. As the technology surrounding it improves, 3D printers are becoming increasingly versatile. They'll be used for an ever-growing number of tasks in a manner similar to the last 2 decades of our digital expansion via personal computers and 3D printers, having virtually limitless potential as the technology driving them improves. Nanotechnology. This technology has been developing the ability to build simple structures on a minute scale. As nanotechnology is becoming an accepted concept, nanometer scale technology is building machines on the scale of minute molecules, such as motors, robot arms, and even small computers, far, far smaller than a single cell. This technology also provides a UV resistance in coatings and paints to make surfaces scratch resistant. These surfaces also prevent the formation of bad smells, fungus and mold, and basic construction materials, cement, concrete and steel, are also benefiting from nanotechnology and the added strength attributes it provides. Graphene is also part of the nanotechnology concept, and despite it being flexibly thin, it's strong enough to protect from a bullet at close distance. And it's quoted that mobile phones will soon be benefiting from the graphene properties. The graphene concept is also now being applied to building materials on a larger scale. And it's likely that in the next 5 years, graphene will be recognized for its uses in a variety of many building product applications. I'm not sure if you're aware of nanotechnology, just how much it's been about. It's been about for many years, and it was first used by the cosmonauts in the space programs, and NASA use it today in the space shuttle programs. So what are the other innovations which are on the increase? Rise of the machines. Sounds like something from a Terminator film. Construction Robotics has developed a robot called SAM, short for Semi-Automated Mason, which can lay 3,000 bricks a day. That's significantly more than most builders who can lay an average of 500 bricks a day. And this is set to turn the construction industry on its head. The devices have already started replacing bricklayers on a handful of sites in America, Asia, Germany, and the UAE. And Construction Robotics are open to introduce the robots into Great Britain within the next 2 years. And with further innovations and advances in site plan being made, this now provides us unprecedented opportunities. The downside is it's replacing traditional skills which can only impact on the skills shortages affecting our global industry. And it's suggested by 2050, many brickworkers will be out of work. Watch this space, this is happening. Adrian X is a robot that can lay 1,000 bricks an hour from a stationary position and build a house in just 2 days. Rather than using the traditional method of cement to hold bricks together, Adrian X uses a special construction glue as an adhesive, and it's capable of working with bricks of almost any size and can cut, grind and mill each brick to fit. The robot is mounted on the back of a truck, enabling it to simply be transported to construction sites. It has a 92-foot boom that is attached to the main unit, and it uses its hand or claw to pick up the clay bricks, following instruction for 3D CAD software and a laser-guided system. This is also happening. Exoskeletons, founded in 2005 and based in California. Exobionics has worked on exoskeletons for military and health applications, but has since developed further powered suits to aid in the physical therapy for people who have suffered strokes or been involved in serious accidents. And over 4,000 people have used the suit as part of their rehabilitation process in learning to walk again. Its latest creation will enhance rather than replace human capabilities, and exoskeleton suits are now being aimed at the construction and industrial sectors. The lightweight suit does not have a conventional power source, but instead utilises counterweights and a sprung arm. The physical arm is called a 0G, and the 0G arm takes a tool weight, enabling workers to operate heavy tools without exerting themselves. And other tools can then be used in conjunction with the suit, including large grinders, sanders and polishers, rivet busters and rotary hammers. Again, this is on its way. The Dagger Smart Helmet, which is intended to increase productivity, efficiency and safety. The helmet contains a sophisticated sensing technology and an array of cameras that together capture 360-degree views. A computing program within the camera called IntelliTrack captures, processes and displays information about the user's surroundings. The smart helmet knows how you move through a space, and it can map the environment and start to create a 3D reconstruction of a facility. These helmets are already in use on a number of sites globally, and both virtual and augmented reality are operational within its use. But at a cost of £17,000 each, they're clearly not for throwing around in your boot bag. So, technology. Technology in the construction industry, as we've seen it, is advancing at a rapid rate. The introduction of building information modelling and the digital collaboration process that goes with it is revolutionising the construction industry. And off-site modular techniques are promoted as an enabler, with construction then able to learn the production line lessons from the manufacturing areas. Many people are predicting worker-free building sites by 2050. Where we once saw hard hats and high-vis jackets, there could be robotic bulldozers coordinated by drones circulating overhead, with 3D printers churning out new design at a pace beyond that of human skill. However, there remain real challenges to make today's fictions tomorrow's reality. But what about the introduction of artificial intelligence? More than 3/4 of the built environment professionals believe that artificial intelligence will have a positive impact on the infrastructure sector, but most believe that it will never fully take up human interaction. And let's not forget the words of Albert Einstein from the earlier slide. Many people think that artificial intelligence could pose a threat to jobs in the sector, but with a large number believing that artificial intelligence will lead to new skills, improved quality standards, improved awareness, and numerous professional opportunities. The Innovation 2050 publication quotes that artificial intelligence is an integral part of our lives, and it's now only right that it should be considered to help better our quality standards and boost productivity and generally improve how we manage our infrastructure. It opens a door to new ways of working with the potential to improve performance and efficiency. Much has been made of the skills gap we face, but the benefits of artificial intelligence may go some way towards mitigating the problem. By combining the use of artificial intelligence alongside continued efforts to recruit and train the next generation of architects and engineers, we can future-proof our workforce, the health of the industry, and the wider economy. Our industry and much of society is only beginning to realise the transformative power of artificial intelligence, and now is the time to assess and analyse how we can best take advantage of it, identifying both the challenges and opportunities, and how built environment professionals and technology sector should work together to build the necessary leadership. So this is the big discussion. How artificial intelligence can improve quality, awareness and productivity. What do you think? Is this a building control surveyor? Is it a clerk of works? Is it a CDM, health and safety advisor? What do you think? What are your views? The case for machines in the workplace has been proven again and again. And in many cases, robots can increase efficiency and quality whilst reducing errors and waste. According to Forbes, by 2035, AI technologies have the potential to increase productivity by 40% and economic growth by 1.7% across 16 industries, including construction. And as well as improved efficiencies, it can also mean advances in health and safety, as robots and technology can be used to assess sites and complete jobs that many are too dangerous for humans. Recently, construction giant Beck published its report, Innovation 2050. It's out there now for you to download. A digital future for the infrastructure industry. They believe that by 2050, construction sites will be human-free, and the only interaction will be through robotics. According to the report, the role of humans will predominantly be to oversee projects remotely, assessing 3D and 4D visuals and data from the on-site machines, and ensuring the building is proceeding to specification. And very few people will access the site itself, but those who do will wear robotically enhanced exoskeletons, which will control the machinery and other robots on site. Whoops. So is that the site of the future? Everything I've just discussed through this presentation, modular construction, robotics, the Dagger smart helmets, BIM 360, that's all included within that site. Minimum personnel. What's your views? That's what they're predicting. And is this where we are? Is this what we're now entering? Are we ready? Are we now entering the fourth industrial revolution? Many in industry believe we are. We live and work in an ever more globalised marketplace in which initiative, innovation and continuous improvement are essential to our prosperity. And the future of any construction project requires the commitment and encouragement of many participants in our industry, which assists in shaping industry policy and global compliance. But despite the benefits these technologies may bring, it's important to remember that technology does not sit in isolation. It's part of a larger academic domain which is forward-thinking and which embraces industry trends while harmonising and improving quality standards and professional initiatives. The global challenge and the extent of the problems facing all professionals in the construction sector is to maintain and provide inspiration to innovation and continued creativity. And it's important that today's professionals and those of the future take the opportunity to engage with others and to collaborate and educate with others on the best way to move forward. We've come a long way, but the journey ahead is much longer. Industry movement is now happening, and this presentation has simply been a highlight of the digital technology which is reshaping our future and at considerable pace. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you very much.